Hello and welcome to my channel. Please do well to hit the subscribe button, like and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news update. Today we'll be discussing on whether or not Princess Diana was actually as innocent as the media portrayed her to be. Watch until the end and comment your thoughts down below. I should point out before I begin my answer that to say Princess Diana is incorrect. Lady Diana Spencer became the Princess of Wales on marriage and was not then, nor was she ever entitled to be known as Princess Diana. Princess, Christian name, is reserved for the female children of the monarch or the female grandchildren of the monarch in the male line. The married spouse of the Prince of Wales becomes Princess of Wales only. When Diana divorced, she lost even this. Yes, it is a common misconception that Diana was the Princess of Wales when she died, but she was in fact Diana, Princess of Wales. This style indicated that she was the divorced wife of Prince Charles. The difference in the style and title is the absence of the word the. She had no title when she died, except Lady, which she chose not to use. So having cleared that up, was Diana, Princess of Wales, as innocent as the American media made her out to be? In a word, no. In point of fact, Diana was not the innocent flower everyone thought she was. The Diana of the press and the real Diana were two very different people. That's not to say Diana wasn't wronged. Despite my respect for the royal family, Charles and Camilla treated her very badly in the early years. Diana was absolutely smitten with Charles and would have done anything to make him happy. She was a model Princess of Wales in the early years, even pretending to enjoy things she actually didn't. She was a wonderful mother, a brilliant ambassador, and could very easily have become a much-loved queen. Unfortunately, and of course understandably, she was a woman scorned. The problem was that when she turned, and all that we loved about her suddenly became fiction. Some might say, well, Charles deserved it, but it wasn't just Charles in the equation. She had two boys who had to watch their parents play out a dramatic divorce in the public sphere. The institution she chose to bash so publicly was a well-respected institution of which William would one day be head. She went public and gave an interview to Martin Bashir for Panorama in 1995 and shared her story to the likes of Andrew Morton and Peter Sutherland. Her ambition was for her and the children to carry on the Wales name, and she hoped that Charles and Camilla would just disappear out of sight. Everything Charles did, she wanted the one-up. She forgot about her children, and by attacking her husband, she chose to attack the royal family and the institution. The Queen and Prince Philip had been very good to her. It's a common misconception that they hated her. The truth is the Queen is a very traditional woman who didn't know what to do when her son and daughter-in-law were airing their dirty laundry in public. She tried to help and was a great comfort to Diana in the early years, protecting her from the press as much as she could. One day she called reporters to the palace and asked them to leave her alone. Prince Philip became a kind of marriage counselor for the two, admitting he wasn't great but tried to help nonetheless. In the end, and when things were getting out of control, the Queen intervened and told them if they were going to divorce that they should get on with it. Diana started off okay and was understandably hurt, but she became so bitter and intent on having revenge that she ultimately destroyed herself. She battled with bulimia and all sorts of mental health problems. She became a paranoid mess and invented romances in her mind. She stalked Hasnat Khan and only got with Dodi so that she could make Hasnat jealous. The reality is that Hasnat was probably relieved. It is my personal belief that Diana had narcissistic personality disorder. She dismissed staff that didn't tell her what she wanted to hear. She went on humanitarian missions presenting herself as some kind of Mother Teresa type figure, but in truth, what did these missions accomplish? I highly doubt that Diana truly walked through a landmine-infested area without having had someone check through that area first. The photos with kids in Angola were all PR stunts in my view. These kinds of activities were just ways to bolster her image and endeared her to many as a result. This is what narcissists do. Don't tell me the images with Dodi on the boat weren't staged. The reality is that Diana's death coincided with a period in British history which saw the final collapse of the class system in Britain. It coincided with the new era of New Labour under Tony Blair. The call me Tony years as opposed to the stiff upper lip tenure of Mrs. Thatcher and the Major government. She had already expressed a wish to be known as the Queen of Hearts in the Panorama interview, and the Blair government immortalized her further by coining a new term of endearment, the People's Princess. It was very apt. The Labour government in Britain almost used her death to bolster their own reputation as the people's government. Elton John also helped to complete this image of a saintly figure with his rendition of Candle in the Wind. For the first time we heard clapping in church, and people demonized the royal family for not doing the same despite it being a very traditionally British thing not to do. It was practically unheard of until then. The Abbey had been almost transformed into a concert theatre with Elton John, which did away with the usual solemnity of a church and funeral service. Even the Sun jumped on board shouting, "Where is our Queen? Where is her flag?" But they failed to mention that the royal standard is never flown at half-mast. They should have been sued for that in my view, as they knew full well why it wasn't there. The royal standard wasn't flown at half-mast for Queen Victoria or King George VI, and it was also never flown for Diana. The royal standard is there only to highlight that the monarch is in residence. As the monarch wasn't in residence, it wasn't flown. It certainly was not going to be flown at half-mast, as there is always a monarch in Britain. Even if a monarch dies, a new monarch automatically succeeds, hence why the royal standard is never flown at half-mast. A compromise had to be made in the end whereby the Union flag was flown at half-mast instead, and this has become a new tradition, but only since Diana died. History has immortalized Diana as this saint-like Queen of Hearts, but in truth she was a very unwell young lady who was used to sell news and bolster everybody else's agenda. Even her death was used as a political PR exercise by the new government. In the end, she was just hunted prey. Thank you so much for watching till the end. What did you think of today's topic? Leave comments, like and subscribe.